Hey all you tricksters, welcome back to the channel for another group of eShop reviews. If at any point during this content you find yourself really enjoying it and you find it informational, please consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Let's jump right into these reviews.
Won't be good for me, but I don't care.
Dorfromantik is a sort of virtual puzzle board game. Now, I'm a huge board game enthusiast. In fact, if I could turn the camera to my left without messing it up, you'd see a big old shelf full of tabletop games. But one game in particular that Dorfromantik really reminded me of when I saw the trailers was this game Carcassonne. Now, Carcassonne is all about laying tiles to build a French village and farmland and roads and whatnot. Dorfromantik is very similar to that. The game is going to be dealing out one at a time tiles. You're going to be building rivers and roads, train tracks, towns, all kinds of stuff. And there will be little objectives along the way that will give you a higher and higher score. Now, to be clear, unlike something like Carcassonne or other type of virtual board games, Dorfromantik is a single-player experience. This is very much being marketed as sort of a Zen-like game. The goal here ultimately is to relax and just have a good time laying tiles and building something that's beautiful to look at. And for the most part, in that regards, Dorfromantik does succeed. Every time I played, I had a real nice sense of accomplishment of looking at what I had built, seeing what score I had gotten, and trying to figure out, okay, how could I place the tiles a little bit different next time to move up the ranks. Now, all that said and done, I'm still going to recommend that you wait for at least a little bit of a sale on Dorfromantik. My biggest problem with this game is just that it feels a little bit like it straddles the line between something that's more like a digital toy and something that's more like a full-on game. I've seen this with other games such as The Ramp or Cloud Gardens. Those are two games that came out this year that, again, feel a little bit more like a digital toy of sorts. The Ramp is a great example because it's super budget priced and it's really simple. That's the thing with these sort of digital toy style games, is you just don't know how much you're going to be able to squeeze out of it gameplay wise. I mean, after spending about 45 minutes with Dorfromantik, I kind of felt like I had my fill already. It doesn't mean I can't see a time in the future when I might want to relax, boot up Dorfromantik, and play again for a little while. Again, that's the problem. Not quite engaging, not quite meaty enough to be a game. Again, a little too expensive to be considered a digital toy. I do recommend Dorfromantik. I just think I would wait for a little bit of a sale. I have no problem saying that Lego is the best toy ever created. I said before when talking about Dorfromantik that if you were to look to the left side of this room, you'd see a large shelf of board games. Well, if you went into my closet, you would see bins with hundreds of thousands of sorted Lego pieces. I adore Lego. Lego Bricktales is a game that is attempting to bring that love to fruition through a game that has actual Lego building going on in it. Now, the basic plot of the game is quite silly. Your grandfather is trying to rebuild his old amusement park, and he's created this portal which will take you to different biomes. And in these biomes, you're going to find different characters who need help with different tasks. And by helping them complete these tasks, you'll collect these happiness points, which will help rebuild the amusement park, and also in turn will give you new abilities to go back to the biomes and find secret collectibles. Now, this is a no combat game unlike the other Lego games. This is all about the build. One thing that absolutely thrilled me the moment I started this game is seeing that everything is made by Lego bricks. If you've played other Lego games, you know that a lot of times the environment is not actually made of Lego bricks, but we'll just have little sections put together with bricks. But here it is an entire diorama made with nothing but Lego. Kind of looks a bit like the Captain Toad game, where you have everything in a grid and you can zoom out and see all of the way this has been built. So this is a game that gets the look of Lego down perfectly. Now, like I was saying, you're going to be helping characters with different challenges. So the main bulk of the gameplay will be going into build mode. Build mode is where you're going to be building what they need to complete their task. This can very often be something like building a staircase or a bridge or a helicopter or something they need to get to where they need to go. So of course, building is the main bulk of what you are going to be doing in Bricktales, so it better be good, right? And here's the good news and bad news. It's kind of great and it's kind of awful. Now, what's great about it is you have the full ability to build with Lego bricks like you would in real life. All the kinds of connections, all the ways you could put something together, it's all there. Near limitless capabilities. The problem I had, and this may be more due to the fault of playing this on a console with a controller, is that the building controls are very finicky and hard to deal with. I dealt with constant times where I was struggling to get a piece lined up just the way I needed, to get the camera lined up so I can see if everything is where it needs to be. And there'd be so many times I'd make a connection, be like, ah, crap, that's not where it goes. It needs to be 2 studs over or 1 stud this way. So you would release the piece and do it all over again, sometimes making the mistake again. So yeah, that's the big problem with Bricktales. I do wonder if playing the PC version and playing with a keyboard and mouse may alleviate a lot of this issue. But as I was playing this game, I couldn't help think to myself, I'm a Quest 2 owner, and I think if this game were released in VR, it would be phenomenal. Now, there are already games on the Quest 2 that have you in real 3D environments, picking up things and connecting them and building. So to the developers of LEGO Bricktales, if there's any chance of you porting this to the Quest 2, I highly encourage you to do it. I would be your biggest cheerleader for that, and I would absolutely pick it up on that platform. But as an experience on a console, it's definitely a mixed bag. What should really just be a very relaxing experience is often just made kind of stressful and frustrating because of these control input problems. So the big question, should you pick up LEGO Bricktales at full price? I'm gonna say personally no. Now at $30, it's not a full-priced game necessarily, but I still think that's a bit steep for a game that definitely has some issues that need to be ironed out. Now, where you pick it up is really going to depend on how much of a lover of LEGO you are. For me personally, I would recommend it at a simple discount. I think if you got a discount of anywhere from $8 to $10 off, getting it down to that $20 price, I think then that the problems are a bit more negotiable and okay. So ultimately, although I really did enjoy a lot of LEGO Bricktales, I'm going to give it that recommendation of wait for a discount. Tunic is an absolutely gorgeous, isometric Legend of Zelda style adventure game. In the opening moments of Tunic, you find out you're playing as a little fox, he's washed ashore, and you're making your way into this world of all kinds of mysteries. Again, I say it's very similar to Legend of Zelda. If you're used to that type of game, it's going to be really helpful here. Now, why is it helpful? Well, the big idea behind Tunic is that the game really doesn't tell you anything about how to play it. One of the items that you're going to be picking up along the way are actually pieces of an old style NES manual. And these bits of manual really truly become crucial, especially for something like learning how to upgrade your character. So you'll be taking this fox-like character, you'll be making your way through all kinds of dungeons, you'll be picking up things like a classic sword and a shield. And with Tunic, secrets abound. It feels like there's a secret around every corner, and you're consistently going to be seeing treasure chests that seem like they're out of reach. But with just a little bit of extra exploration, you can make your way around and find a secret hidden path. So for Legend of Zelda enthusiasts, you're going to really enjoy Tunic, but there is one caveat, one big warning, and that is that Tunic is tough. Now, this isn't as brutal as some Souls-likes, which it does, again, also take a little bit of inspiration from, but you are going to be dying a lot in Tunic. And again, a lot of this is simply learning what you're capable of at what point, because you really just have very little guidance on where to go and which area is going to have baddies you just can't handle yet. So you're going to have to be okay with a lot of trial and error, a lot of just moving around an environment, maybe deciding you're not going to go the way you thought you were going to go and moving on to a new area. Personally, I absolutely adore Tunic. I'm a big sucker for Legend of Zelda style games, so I'm already predisposed to liking it. But the world is absolutely beautiful. I love the constant feeling of mystery, like you're going to find something just around the corner. Even though combat is tough, I really enjoy the way it feels. That has a really nice lock-on system, so you're going to be strafing between characters. Again, it does give you plenty of other types of weapons and tools, so there will be better ways to deal with the more difficult enemies or the bigger hordes of enemies. But I think that is the biggest warning, is that if you're not up for a super challenging experience, you don't want to be fooled by the cute look of this game. Now, this game does offer a sort of no-fail mode that you can turn on the options. I didn't personally try that out, but from what I've seen and heard, it basically makes you, I think, more or less invincible. So I think that's taking it a bit too far, to the point where I think some people might just like the challenge turned down a bit. All that said, I am giving Tunic my full recommendation of full price. This is a premium priced indie game, but it is definitely worth the money. I will say, on one side note, as much as I love playing a game where the object is to learn how to play the game, I would be a little bit frustrated if Tunic started spawning many different clones of it. I personally don't want to have a subgenre of gaming where the whole point is that you don't know how to do anything and you have to slowly figure it out. Maybe that subgenre already exists, but I'm not familiar with it, and I wouldn't want to constantly be consuming this style of game. But as its own singular experience, I love Tunic. All right, Tricksters, what'd you think of those games? Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of these games and whether or not you're picking any of them up. And until next time, I hope you have great gaming. Bye-bye.